Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song They Rock 2000 Day. We've got a very special It's Friday episode for you because, well, we're able to put one out on Friday. Yes, we're all dealing with the coronavirus thing. Yes, I know we're all sick and tired of it, but we got to do our best to kick this virus's ass, and we're going to make sure that's done. So one way to help you guys out with that is we're going to have a Friday podcast episode, and this one is probably the podcast episode up to this point that I have been looking the most forward to, most excited about, and you guys are ready to go for it. But before we jump into it, I got to do my shameless plugs. Reason for the shameless plugs is, well, of course, the fact that, well, if I had advertising right now, this is where it would all be put, but I don't. So, well, we're just going to keep rolling with it. So for all the My Song of the Day stuff, please like our Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page, TikTok. Reason for that is because on all of those, you're going to find out when stuff gets released. You're going to find out when YouTube videos and podcasts are released. You're going to be able to listen to the 30-second Song of the Day preview. One other thing you're going to be able to do is, especially on our Instagram page, which is our biggest page, you can watch our IGTV videos, which come out every single Tuesday unless otherwise noted. It's behind the scenes look at what we're doing here. And every single Wednesday, unless otherwise noted, at 9 p.m. Central Time, we do a live stream where you can talk to us for an hour. We have a great time doing that as well to get to talk with you guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because you can watch the podcast videos that you're watching right now, or if you're listening to the podcast episode, go watch the YouTube video as well because you can really get behind that as well and watch it and enjoy. One other thing you can do is watch our album reviews and everything because there's been a lot of albums that come out recently, a lot of reviews to go over, so we get ready for that. With the podcast, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. You can watch it on YouTube as well at the My Song They Rock 2000 Day page, and enable our Amazon Alexa skill, because that's you're going to hear the whole entire Song of the Day feature. And the Song of the Day feature might be the most important thing of all because it's what builds the community. It helps everyone that loves rock and metal and all their subgenres get more into bands they love, bands they're going to love and fall in love with, bands they used to love and are going to get behind them and be like, oh my God, I used to love this band. I can't believe I'm listening to them again. One other thing that we can also do with that is, well, on every single Saturday, we do a special small band Saturday one. And what we do for special small band Saturday is we just have fun with it. I mean, we get you a lot of bands from a lot of other different places and that are emerging, and when you can get in on their music early, so be sure to listen to that as well, and we'll go from there. But now, why was I so excited about this episode? Because my buddy Chris, he's been on the podcast twice before. He was on for the Five Finger Death Punch album, and him and I absolutely gushed over that Polaris album as well. Right before that, he told me, hey, you got to check out this Italian metalcore band called Stain the Canvas. This was like February 11th. And I listened to their singles. I'm like, okay. He's like, they got a new album coming out on February 14th called God Made Hell. I think I messed it up at the beginning of the podcast, but I corrected myself. But yeah, so God Made Hell. I'm like, okay, we'll have a listen to the album when it comes out. The album dropped, and this was my face. I was like, what? Basically, like the best, like, what could you imagine? Due to the fact that I was absolutely in love with this album. I thought it was great, thought it was fantastic. One thing I say in the podcast you're going to hear is like, this sounds like the sound that Bring Me the Horizon was going to go on and like with Sempiternal and from then on, but they were stuck with that hard metalcore sound. Like that spot is open to basically like who's going to take that insane metalcore spot that Bring Me the Horizon left. So I don't think really anyone has. Stain the Canvas though, yeah, they easily can do that. So without further ado, let's get into it. I was with Alessandro and Ricardo of Stain the Canvas. One thing you'll notice for the video is we had an empty spot up there as well on the recording of the video when we talked to them. So one thing we're going to do there for you guys, we're going to have Stain the Canvas vision. So we're going to have videos of Stain the Canvas going in that spot so you can enjoy that as well. But enough with that. Let's get into the interview with Stain the Canvas. This is one of my favorite ones of all time. So guys, let's go! Well, everybody, this one I am incredibly excited about. Today, I am with the guys from an Italian metalcore group who since the release of their last album, I have found them to be absolutely fantastic. Please welcome two of the members of Stain the Canvas.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing all right, hunkered down in my apartment right now, much like the rest of the world. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're
Same.
fine.
We're fine. We're in our home.
That's good. So before we really get into it, can you guys introduce yourselves for everybody so that everyone knows who you are?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Ricardo from Stain the Canvas. I'm the guitarist, and yeah, that's it.
I'm Hale. I'm the drummer from Stain the Canvas. Sorry. I'm the drummer for Stain the Canvas. And yeah.
Alrighty, perfect. Well, let's get started because I gotta say, I'm gonna start out with your new album because it came out on Valentine's Day, February 14th, called Hell Made Me. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I listened to that whole entire album after my buddy Chris said, hey, you have to go and listen to this album. These guys sound fantastic. I went through the whole entire thing, and I think I emailed you guys or messaged you guys right away after the fact that after I listened to it to try and get you on the podcast, because I gotta say, I absolutely love the album.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
It will probably go down as one of my favorites of the year already, and I'm kind of already putting together, well, on a running total, my album, year-end awards, and I've already got you guys in the Album of the Year category because, my God, was it just fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So can you guys start to, fill me in on what it was like to make this album? What were your inspirations behind this album?
Okay. Yeah, we started to write this album I think 2 years ago, and there are a lot of things behind this album, a lot of work, because this was our first album. We hadn't a lot of experience behind this because 3 of us were from another band, but we were just kids 15, 16, and so yeah, this is our first work, and we're so happy of God Made Hell. Yeah.
I've seen so many positive reviews on it and so many people talking about it as well with God Made Hell. It's something that is fantastic. But when you were writing it and when it came to the style that you were writing in, to go with the metalcore style that you did, what was the decision behind making Stain the Canvas a metalcore band?
I think it was for... I think Lorenzo most the biggest inspiration for Lorenzo, the main writer, is the other guitarist. So he is a big fan of Metalcore, so he wanted to write everything in that style. So that's pretty much the main reason. And
say now, is that a style that both Alessandro and you, Ricardo, that you resonate well with and really feel a connection to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually came in this band I think 1 year after the band was created. I'm the last one that joined the band, so it was already sorry.
So, Alessandro, when you joined the band, this band, Stain the Canvas, was already in full swing in making this album, or did you join it right before the album was being made?
I joined the band when I think it was the end of 2018, and there was already 5 piece of music done with the mix and master done. And it was already started everything when I joined the band.
Alrighty, so now we know when you joined the band, we kind of have a little bit idea with what happened with the whole entire God Made Hell album, but I kind of want to go back and take a look at what you Alessandro, what you Ricardo, when you were growing up with the music that you guys grew up on, what music you listened to, what bands you really listened to, because naturally a lot of the bands that we listen to when we're younger is what really influences what we listen to going forward, what we like going forward, and for many of the other musicians that I've spoke to, what they make their music based off of.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I actually started with some punk rock, Green Day, Offspring. I grew up with this, and I actually started to play drums because of Green Day, and then I started to listen to other kind of music like metal. I think the first one was Slipknot. And it actually was one of my favorite bands for many years. And then I went through many other kind of music. For example, orchestral music, progressive. I really like all these kind of genres. And I think I listened the most to, Slipknot, Periphery, and other, I think, Italian music, all that you grew up with.
All right, what about you, Ricardo?
My story is pretty similar to the Alessandro's one. I started from the pop punk's world, like Blink, Green Day, Sum 41, and then I turned into metalcore thanks to, I think, A Day to Remember, that like mashed pop punk with metalcore, and then Bring Me the Horizon, and other metalcore bands, and also Linkin Park has a part of my heart, and that's it.
Did you ever have a chance to see Linkin Park before the unfortunate passing of Chester?
Oh yeah, the same year, 2017, I think.
Yeah.
In Monza with Blink-182 and Sum 41. That was a huge concert.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Pretty lucky.
So one thing that I definitely noticed from the whole God Made Hell album was some of those bands that you mentioned kind of taking influence off of them. And I think a major one that would definitely be fit for that would be Bring Me the Horizon, especially from the Sempiternal album. And I mean, that is one of the best metalcore albums of all time, and one of the best albums from the whole entire decade of the 2010s. And one thing that my buddy and I, when you brought your music to my attention and we listened to it, we started talking about it. One thing we talked about was that now that kind of Bring Me the Horizon's gone in a different direction, it's basically the influence that they created within the metalcore scene and that sound. They kind of took it with them, and no one's really been able to try and capture that somewhat of a intense metalcore sound that has some of those orchestral feelings behind them. We were trying to find a band that really did that. We stumbled upon you guys and this album, and we basically agreed that if there's any like a follow-up to Sempiternal, this is the album.
Thanks a lot. We're honored.
That's a big compliment.
Have you heard of any other I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Have any other artists reached out to you about the album, expressing their opinions on it at all?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Darn, I was hoping we were gonna get at least some prominent members in the hard rock, metal, heavy metal, metalcore scene that hopefully would have stumbled upon this album through people talking about it, listen to it, and reach out to you guys to say that you guys made one hell of an album. That's what I was hoping for.
Oh, okay, yeah, one band, I think Griever. I don't know if you know them, from England.
River, yeah.
Yeah, Griever.
I unfortunately do not, but I know England is really starting to get their, like, kind of like with that hard rock, heavy metal scene. I know it's starting to really pick up once again. So that's probably going to be a band that I'm going to end up having to listen to and really get behind at some point down the line.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a chance to play any of these songs off of God Made Hell live before everything the world turned upside down?
Yeah, actually, yes. We played pretty much all the song of making an exception of Redemption and that section. And that section. All the other, we actually played it live.
What was the reception like live from the fans listening to this whole entire album? And also, what are your live shows like? Because I haven't been really able to find a good video of your live shows, because I wanted to see, especially with a sound that you have, how crazy the crowd gets.
Yeah, the response was pretty awesome. We didn't expect that. It's cool. Playing live is so amazing, and unfortunately we had one show like Friday, but it was deleted, and yeah, we can't wait to get back on the stage. We hope in April, maybe, if they will be not deleted.
Okay. I mean, we are hoping the exact same thing here as well, that a lot of these bands are able to get back up on stage. And I will revert back to that just because I want to speak about that. But right now, I want to talk a little bit more about kind of your music and how you've gotten to this point. So what was I know, Ricardo, you said that you were in a band before Stain the Canvas. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what was it like when you decided that you wanted to play in a band and forming the band that you had before Stain the Canvas?
Okay. I think it's like in 14 years old, and me and the other guitarist, Lorenzo, decided to start this band, the band before Stain the Canvas. Yeah, we found the drummer, and we started playing like cover of Green Day, Blink, pop punk, and then yeah, we arrived to that point that we wanted to change, and we started to search all over Italy a singer, because we need that singer. Brian is awesome, and yeah, we found him in Milan, like 4 hours driving from our hometown, and we go there to start this band, this new project, and we're really happy of that choice.
Definitely for something like this, and for the style of music that you guys are playing right now, your singer Brian has a fantastic voice. For when I listen to it, I could hear, like, I'm always trying to find similarities in other vocalists, so that when I try and describe them to other people, it's everyone kind of get a sense of what they sound similar to, so that, oh, if you like this artist, you're going to want to listen to this, because you're going to find that similarity in feel and sound. And when it came to your lead singer, Brian, the two vocalists that kind of peeked into my mind were, one was Ollie Sykes of Bring Me the Horizon, and then the other was Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So when I mean, and I'm a huge Ice Nine Kills fan. So right when I heard that, I basically kind of, dove headfirst into your music and into the album because I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to because I think I found out about the album like 2 or 3 days before you guys released it, listen to the singles that you had out from it. And even from then I was just set ready to dive right into it. That's how quick of a turnaround this was.
Okay. What's your favorite song from God Made Hell?
Shoot, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna pull up the album real quick. Your third song on the album, Fear from Nowhere.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Yeah.
I absolutely love the chorus in that song. It is fantastic because it's not as rapid as you would expect it to be, but it just hits so hard.
Yeah, it's an up-tempo song.
Yeah, and for a lot of these songs, I really like that up-tempo feel that you have as well, but also having a little bit of that orchestral sound in there, which, Alessandro, I know you said that you kind of had some of that orchestral influence when you were growing up and listening to music, and I can definitely hear it come out in these songs, and I absolutely love that about your music and about Stain the Canvas because it just adds so much more dimensions and so much more range in what you guys can do with your music, and it always pulls up this what I would say is more of an epic feel to your music.
Yeah, but Fear from Nowhere was actually one of the songs that was made before my joining the band. But yeah, I actually love this kind of stuff in our music. So when I first heard Fear from Nowhere, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And I really love that you like that song. It's one of our favorites.
Well, I mean, I have talked with your manager as well about trying to feature one of the songs as the song of the day choice coming up sometime very soon, or it'll depend upon when this episode of the podcast is released, because it might be just before, the day of, or right after. But I am featuring Fear from Nowhere because, again, I absolutely love that song, and one of the best ways, especially in the world today, people are always going to be looking for music due to the fact that everyone's sitting around at home and everyone's trying to do their best to just kind of get away from the hysteria of life. And music is one of those major aspects. And people have so much more time to discover music that they haven't discovered yet. And that's why featuring Fear from Nowhere very soon after the shooting of this episode, but right around the release of it, I think is absolutely perfect.
Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
And so I got to kind of go back to your the live shows that you've played before the release of the album, because I know, again, when the album released, that's when all this stuff started happening. But before the album was released, the shows you were playing, what types of shows were you playing? Were you playing in larger venues and opening up for bigger bands? Were you guys playing smaller shows with smaller crowds? Or what were your shows like before the release of God Made Hell?
Okay, we started from small venues. Like, I think our first concert, like 50 person. We opened that concert for Eline. Don't know if you know that band.
What was the band's name again?
Eline. E-L
Y-N-E.
Okay, I have actually not heard that band yet. So are they very similar style to Stain the Canvas with the metalcore sound?
They're metalcore, but I think they're a little bit different.
Their own style.
Yeah.
Not like ours, but yeah, more. I think more metalcore with Slipknot vibe things.
Yeah.
So more of a mixture between the new metal style and the metalcore style. Okay.
Yeah. Then we played. We played two shows in in Germany and in small venues, and it was cool. It was our first time out of Italy, and we're really happy. There was nice shows and cool.
Was there anything specifically about the crowd that, maybe stood out to you as a real remembrance point, especially with the fact that you guys got to play a couple of shows over in Germany, where I've talked to other bands as well that have been over to Germany, and they say that the German crowd is the most intense crowd they've ever seen.
Yes, German crowd is
they're amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's cool, and they sing the Like a God's chorus, and you feel that energy of Germany, and yeah.
What kind of crazy crowd reactions have you seen outside of, Germany playing, everyone's singing the chorus to Like a God? Have you seen a lot of crazy mosh pits going on? Maybe a couple of walls of death here and there? Just has the crowd just been giving the most insane amount of energy that you could possibly think of?
Yeah, pretty much. I think mosh pit was the most one, and I don't think we ever did a wall of death thing, but it will be crazy.
I have a feeling at some point when you guys are able to play live shows again that you're going to end up calling for a wall of death, just because, again, I mean, you guys have gone to concerts where I would assume you've been a part of those, especially Linkin Park might have been able to pull off one with a couple of their songs. I've been a part of a couple of them. One I almost broke my nose on because someone hit me with a flying elbow to the face. But it's something where the sheer amount of energy that the crowd can create from that, and that also they can take from the band on stage, if the band is up there and playing with this insane amount of energy and passion, it's something that really resonates well with the crowd. So, and Ricardo, I know you just spoke about how when the whole entire crowd in Germany was singing the chorus to Like a God, how you just felt that energy. Was that something that when you first heard them all singing that while you were playing, did it just give you this basically extra boost to just keep going and just play even better?
Exactly. It was like the first time someone sing that chorus with us, and yeah, it's fantastic. Forever in our art.
Well, that's one thing that you guys can always, I would say, be proud of, just because, again, because Like a God, was that one of the singles off of the album? I believe it was, correct?
Yeah, it's the first.
Okay, so off your first album, your first single, and you go to a different country to play, and they know the chorus to that song. The amount of bands that are going to be able to say that are minimal.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's one of the best thing ever.
Have any of the crowds in Italy been able to do the same, where with being able to sing along with some of the songs and some of the choruses as well?
Yeah, I think
pretty
so.
Much. Not like Germany, but
yeah, similar.
Yeah.
But then again, Germany is a whole different animal when it comes to it, just because.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to the music, they've basically been on the forefront of a lot of the music that's being played right now within the rock, hard rock, metal, heavy metal, metalcore. I mean, you name it, they're pretty much there. And when it comes to some of those big festivals as well, like Rock 'em Ring, Rock 'em Park, I mean, you just watch some of the videos that they have from those shows at those festivals. And it can be bands like Slipknot. It could be a band like that I've seen people go crazy for with my favorite band, Rise Against. Heck, even older 30 Seconds to Mars, I've seen people just go absolutely ballistic over it.
Yeah, it's like a big mosh pit in every show. Awesome.
So a couple other things regarding you guys. So when you guys were, I want to go back to kind of when you were younger, when you were growing up and going to shows maybe before or just when you started your musical journey wanting to be in a band, were you guys going to these kind of shows that are just absolutely insane and getting in the mosh pits yourselves?
Yeah, I I actually got a punch in my chest in a mosh pit when I was at a Green Day live, actually.
Oh wow, I got to hear this story. Keep going.
It's just they were playing San Jimmy, and everyone gone crazy. It started a mosh pit near me. I joined it, and I got a punch in my chest, and I stopped the mosh pit. I got away from it for 1 minute and to rest myself from that punch.
So get hit in the chest, rest for a minute just to catch your breath, and then did you jump right back in?
No, I actually don't. I actually didn't. I continued to see the live show.
Like in a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've dealt with something like that too, where I've spoke about a couple other times too. I was seeing a show with the bands After the Burial and Motionless in White, and I got knocked down in the mosh pit as I was getting picked up. Someone tripped and their head hit my head, and I had this huge cut on my head. I was bleeding. I end up being able to still see the rest of, because it was right at the end of After the Burial set, so I was able to get it cleaned up. I had a friend rip off a piece of her shirt so I could basically tie a bunch of paper towel around my eye, look like a pirate, and then I got to see the rest of Motionless in White. But I didn't jump back in the pit much like you, Alessandros, because, well, after something like that, you kind of don't want to jump back in that night. And then, Ricardo, do you have any stories like that as well?
Yeah, I think my first ever concert was the Sum 41 in Milan in 2015, and that was a good concert to start my my live shows. And yeah, a lot of mosh pits, and yeah, it was crazy. A strangest one, I am in a 21 Pilots concert, and I didn't ever expect it. Yeah, it was cool.
Did anything crazy happen at that 21 Pilots show, or was it something that just you were not expecting to be at a show for 21 Pilots?
No, I didn't expect a mosh pit at the 21 Pilots show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So strange.
I wouldn't be expecting a mosh pit at 21 Pilots either. My, oh my. I mean, just listening to their music as well. I'm not the biggest fan of their music. It's just not my style. But trying to think about how you can get a mosh pit going for that, I
don't know. But it was cool. It was really fun. You know, all these 14 girls and boys smashed up in a poppy song. So yeah, it's strange but cool.
I'll say, because that's definitely some of the weirder stuff that has happened. It looks like for all of us at concerts that we've attended. But now I got to ask you guys about the concerts that you performed, even outside the Germany one, where Like a God, they were singing along with the chorus. What have been some of the weirdest and most interesting things that you've seen on stage while performing?
Well, I am actually in the back with headphones, with metronome in my head, so I don't really see what is going on the stage and under the stage. So I think Ricardo can answer better than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our stage is so it's so strange because Brian is like an animal. He's going everywhere. He scream, growl, is so loud, and yeah, it's funny. And that's it. Yeah. In our German show, we go off the stage. We like mosh with people. I can't wait to get back because yeah.
So during your live shows, you've actually jumped into the mosh pits with people?
Yeah. With my guitar, Brian.
Oh my God. Okay, that is absolutely awesome because there's been times where I've seen bands do it where that's certain members jump into the crowd and play in the middle of a mosh pit or get involved with it. I've seen the two I really remember seeing do that for myself. One was Atreyu where the bassist jumped into the mosh pit. Everyone did a circle pit around him. And the other was from the punk band Anti-Flag. They actually brought a little, they brought down a small pieces of the kit and they basically put the drummer in the middle of the mosh pit while the bassist was crowd surfing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was definitely a time, but especially when you're talking about with your lead singer Brian, where he seems like just this absolute ball of energy on stage, very similar to, I'm trying to think of a good comparison to trying to think of someone who's absolutely crazy on stage, going back and forth, jumping around, doing all this crazy stuff. Probably Jason Allen Butler of Fever 333, because I've seen some of their videos. I've never seen a live show of theirs because the one I was supposed to go to got canceled. And I mean, I've seen the videos, but like, is that a good comparison though, Ricardo?
A little bit. A little bit. No, it's not the same, maybe, but he's so crazy. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a little bit more of the idea so that everyone else kind of gets the idea of like when it comes to if we ever get a chance to, see a live show of your guys in the not too distant future, I'm talking within the next maybe year and a half, because as you guys create more music, as you guys begin to grow, who knows what your live sets are going to end up looking like. But as for right now, I'm trying to get a real feel of what it's like to, be on stage with your lead singer who's bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, is he like jumping off of speakers and everything? Is he bumping into you guys? Is he trying to crowd surf as much as possible when he's in the mosh pit? Is he bouncing around left and right in there? Like, what's going on?
Is that?
It's all of that?
Don't know. We've got like
maybe not that much, but yeah, actually, he jumps off stage sometimes.
When he does that, are you guys looking at him and just thinking, "Oh boy, here we go again," just to kind of see what happens?
Yeah.
He moshed with people and just trying to get the energy going.
Well, anytime you have anytime you're playing and you're able to jump into the crowd, the energy is going to go up no matter what. And I've seen bands where sometimes the energy is running a little low for shows. One of them was one of the last times I saw Breaking Benjamin. All of a sudden, just completely change it up afterwards, because all of a sudden here comes Ben Burnley into the crowd and everyone just starts going nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We try to give it 100% all the time, every show. It's fun.
Do you have any crazy stories from when you guys have been traveling through Italy in regards to just things that have happened to you as a band? Just because I've heard some real wacky stories about peak bands, like, I've interviewed a band that went over to Germany, yet they had to spend 2 hours in the airport before they even left because they weren't able to take all their stuff on the plane. So they had to strategically unpack and repack to make sure everything they needed got on.
Not really. We had some stories, but I think we can tell them because
Yeah, it's like we're um, before to go to Germany, we had to rent a car, and in Italy you can rent a car without a credit card, and we don't know that. We didn't know that. We're and the morning of the travel, we were like, oh my god, oh we will delete the shows or something like that, and then Ale's mom
Yeah.
save us with his credit card, and yeah, we're safe.
So even when it comes to trying to play all these live shows in different countries, sometimes you still need to call mom and get some help.
Yeah, we're so thankful to his mom. She's like a saint.
Yeah.
I was gonna say from your comment, Alessandro, it sounds like you've got some crazier stories. You're not sure if you can tell. I'm not gonna press you guys into telling them, just because, again, that's if you guys don't want us to tell them, then keep them to yourselves, kind of thing. But I'm going to end up moving into something that I really want to talk to you guys about, especially with the way that, again, the way the world is right now. And once we get through this whole entire coronavirus thing, what is your plan going forward to keep growing, staying the canvas, and capture fans in other markets, such as, down in Australia, throughout the rest of Europe, over here in America, and pretty much all across the world?
Ale?
I didn't hear
Okay.
anything about that.
Okay, Ali, I'll repeat the question for you. So, once this whole entire coronavirus thing is over, what is the plan for the band to grow and expand into different markets to really grow you guys as a band and get more people to listen to your music with places like, the rest of Europe, Australia, over here in America? Basically, what's the game plan for staying the canvas once the coronavirus is done?
Yeah, I don't know what to say this. We want to get actually worldwide, to get as many people as possible by investing a lot in advertisement and spread our music with everyone on the internet.
Because one thing that I've kind of thought about, and I'm not sure if you guys have or if you guys are thinking about something like this, but especially here in America right now, taking a look at what's been happening is with a lot of bands having to cancel their tours or postpone them. All of a sudden, there are even the ones that, were still going at this point and all of a sudden had to get stopped. You're gonna end up coming back and trying to play a lot of these shows again. But what I've been seeing is, that like the headliners are going to be there, such as, I was supposed to go see Bad Omens last week and that got postponed. And just where I'm going with this is there's a lot of bands that they have that are opening for them. Now, I'm not sure what kind of commitments those bands have when they reschedule them or when this is all over. So these bands could very well be looking for more or other opening acts, maybe take the place of some of the ones that couldn't go on any further. And even for some of the bands that were doing tours over in Europe as well, that all of a sudden had to quickly come home or go back to their home countries just so that we could stop the coronavirus. If they end up coming back over to Europe and are looking for an opening act, that could be a perfect place for you guys to really get your music out there even more so and get more, worldwide recognition, because all of a sudden you're playing with bands like Bad Omens. You might be playing with a band like Ice Nine Kills. Heck, you might even, all of a sudden Bring Me the Horizon might have something. They're trying to find a band with that hard sound again to open up for them. And then boom, there you guys are.
It would be a dream. That would be so cool. But we know it's pretty hard to get on major tours right now. And of course, if we will be asked to jump on one of on this big tour, we would absolutely love to do it. It would be a dream.
Yeah, it's just something that I've been thinking about as like a lot about, just because with a lot of the bands that I've been able to talk to, seeing what their plan is going forward, due to the fact that we're in a really weird time right now, and there's so much, and it's weird where it's the opportunity is still there, but it's a completely different opportunity than it was 2 months ago. And one thing that I know Alessandro spoke about was when it came down to getting your music out there, especially now where everyone is stuck at home or stuck in can't really go anywhere, trying to find an escape from reality just to get away from the situation from a while, with music being the perfect thing for that. And people still try and discover new music just because they might be listening to the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, well, I want to find something just a little different. And then if you guys are putting a lot of money behind marketing God Made Hell off of that, it seems like there's a gigantic opportunity for you to all of a sudden come out after the coronavirus to be all of a sudden a band that everyone wants to end up going to see, and that people are, some of these bigger bands are absolutely wanting to have you guys open for them on their tour.
Well, the best thing to say is that if you're watching this, go stream our album, and it will help us a lot. And if this coronavirus will stop, we really want to tour more. We are now planning a full European and the UK tour this fall. And we hope to do this, and we hope that this coronavirus situation will stop.
I think the rest of the world also agrees with you that we wish this virus stopped, but you guys are planning a European and a UK tour for the fall?
Yeah, we're trying to organize it.
Do you have any, I'm not going to ask for specific dates or specific places, because I know it's probably all real open-ended right now, especially with everything going on. But what time frame in the fall do you have specifically kind of as your idea for this tour?
We cannot tell a lot of this time. We can say like October, November, yeah.
Okay, that's the basically the reason why I was asking for that one is because I have plans to be over in Europe in September. So I was hoping you guys are going to be doing it in September, so I have a chance potentially see you guys live.
Maybe. Who knows?
I had to ask just because I know I'm making it happen. My plans are already pretty much getting set and ready to go, but again, just waiting for this whole entire thing to get done for the world to destroy the coronavirus. But I've got it set up and ready to go.
Next us, we can get to go a beer.
Get to have a beer with the guys from Stain the Canvas. That would be absolutely incredible, especially coming from a guy who absolutely loves to drink beer.
That would be so cool.
And then when you guys end up getting to the point where, because it's going to happen, especially listening to God Made Hell, I know this is going to happen, that you guys are going to end up over in the US at some point touring. And when that happens, I'm gonna do a couple of things. One is find out exactly what day you guys are playing that's either where I'm from or real close to me, to make sure I can go and see you guys live. Because even if you don't come to where I'm from, Chicago's 90 minutes south of me, so it's not that hard to get to the third largest city in the nation.
Maybe in a couple of years, who knows?
Because I'll be at that show, I'll find you guys, and also plan on having a couple of beers with you guys, just to also take a look and be like, holy crap, you guys made it.
We hope so. Really
much.
Yeah, and this isn't something that I'm sitting with or like, oh, I just hope this happens. I mean, especially after listening to that album, I have a very strong inclination that this is going to happen.
Thank you.
So, well, I mean, on that note, we've kind of gone through a lot of the things that I've wanted to go through, especially with kind of the God Made Hell album, kind of some of the fun things you guys have done in the past, and what you guys are looking forward to doing once we're able to get through this coronavirus thing. So do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I will send you on your way to make sure that we can all, destroy the virus and stay healthy.
Yeah. Thank you first for this chat.
Are you kidding me, guys? Thank you. This has been the interview so far that I've been looking the most forward to, especially after hearing the album, trying to figure out exactly what time I could get you guys to be on the podcast, schedule this all, and then with everything else that's been going on as well, the fact they're able to do this, I was super excited going into this, and coming out of this, I'm still just as excited.
Yeah, we would like to invite people to support us, listening to our albums, stream the albums, and I think buy some merch and support us.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is, for everyone listening, we will have the link to the Spotify stream for God Made Hell in the description of both the podcast episode and the YouTube video. We will also have links to Stain the Canvas's website and where you can buy some awesome Stain the Canvas merch to support them, because I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, for everyone listening, they definitely deserve your support. I mean, their album is kick ass, and to make sure you check out our Song of the Day feature from March 20th. It's a Friday. Reason I say that is because I know that's the day we're doing the Fear from Nowhere feature, so you can get a taste of what their sound sounds like. And then after you get the taste, one thing you're going to want to do is say, I want to listen to the rest of that album. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Alrighty, guys, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We're going to kick this coronavirus's ass together and hope to potentially see you guys when I come over to Europe, hopefully in September, and I'll figure something out. I mean, I've got 2 weeks over there just to hobnob around, so I'll make it happen. Alessandro, Ricardo, thank you very much. I will see you guys later, and have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Well, friends, that was my interview with Ricardo and Alessandro of Stain the Canvas. Guys, when I said that God Made Hell was going to potentially be one of my picks for albums of the year, I was not kidding. Right now, it's up there right with Polaris's album from this year, I think The Death of Me. Like, they're just fantastic albums. If you haven't listened to God Made Hell, please go and listen to that right now. If you need to find out like what it actually feels like to listen to it, go to YouTube and watch the D. Gibby reaction to Hell Made Me, because my God, he just goes off on that, on how fantastic the song is and how much he likes it. Also, if you're listening to this on the day of the release here on March 20th, go check out our Song of the Day feature, because it is going to be one from Stain the Canvas. It's like Stain the Canvas Day. So one thing I cannot wait for is when this coronavirus thing is over, to potentially be able to see them live when I go over to Europe, and if it's just something where it's like I'm not able to just see them live, just to hang out with them and just meet them and have a beer with them. Absolutely would love it. You guys are going to love to see them when they come over to the United States or wherever part of the world you're from, Italy, Europe, Australia, wherever it might be. You guys are going to absolutely love seeing this band live, and I can't wait to see them live as well. But that's going to be it for me on this one. I absolutely love interviewing the guys from Stain the Canvas. Hope to be able to talk to them again, and can't wait to meet them in person. But until then, and until next time, everybody, this is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2000 to Today Chord Progression Podcast, ending this podcast every way I always do, with a big hearty